Unique in every way.
30 years of joyfulness. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. The news is live on 9.7 FM, hits 103.9 FM in Accra, on Love 99.5 in Kumasi, myjoyonline.com. We're also live news is supported by Petrosol Platinum Energy, energizing dreams. This afternoon, mixed reactions as President John Mahama initiates removal process for Chief Justice, and we'll hear from government on the criteria used to determine why these petitions merited further action.
Not aware of the commentary that has come from the NDC, irrespective of what you think of the Judicial.
That's why we have what is the prima facie case. That threshold should be grounded in the petition.
Also this afternoon, parts of the capital Accra left devastated by yesterday's heavy rain and strong winds, with billboards and roofs of buildings torn off.
They should use better material, or maybe if they do this, they have to do something that will chalk the billboard. Otherwise, this one like casualty.
For the billboard industry, let us have a way of erecting them and making them permanent. The best way is pulling it down so that people will take these sustainable measures serious.
Well, we're live on the ground. We'll bring you the very latest in sports.
Ghana Olympic Committee President Ben Nuno Mensah opts out of April's elective Congress.
And today on Climate Focus, we explore how farming African palm weevil larvae, locally known as akokno, offers a sustainable solution for food security and climate change mitigation. We'll bring you that later. And in our Ghana Man series, we journey to Salaga, where a market once thrived on the sale of humans.
For the slave agents, they don't care. Yes, they don't care what you are going through. The only one, at the end of the day, the strong ones. So when you are weak and then they realize you are dying, they unchain will leave you in the bush, you die, animal food will come and then feed on your flesh. Yes, and they are fed once in a day. When bringing them, they have little water to drink.
We'll bring you that, also these and more with me, Maame Esi Nyamekye Thompson. This is Joy News, independent, fearless and credible. Please stay for details. This afternoon, there's been mixed reactions to President John Mahama's decision to initiate formal proceedings for the removal of Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo after forwarding 3 removal petitions to the Council of State. The Council will now review the petitions to determine whether they merit action. A presidential statement on Tuesday evening confirmed that the president had begun consultations with the Council of State as required by Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution. By what stage is the removal process as at now? Presidential Affairs correspondent Maxwell Agbagba joins me with more. Maxwell, we know now that the president has forwarded the Council of State. Who are the members of the Council of State?
Well, Maame Esi, it comprises 31 members, and they serve as an advisory institution to and the composition of the council reflects a combination of elected and appointed members. Now, 16 regional representatives are elected by delegates from district assemblies. Additionally, the president appoints 11 members and in consultation with parliament designates 3 distinguished individuals: a former chief justice, a former inspector general of police, and a former chief of defense staff. Now, the president of the National House of Chiefs also serves as a de facto member. So in all, 14 out of the 31 members, constituting 45% of the council, are either directly or indirectly asked. So we have Edward Doe, former Chief Justice Sophia Ekufu, who was appointed by former President Akufo-Addo and from 2017 to 2019. We also have former Attorney General Betty Modi-Dusu, who aided President Mills. We have Air Marshal Michael Samson OJ, who is also a member. He served as the Chief of Defense Staff under President MP for Zebila on the ticket of the NDC, Cletus Avoka, as a member. So these are some of the key members currently.
Well, after the Council of State considers the petitions, what happens next?
So the removal of the Chief Justice follows a formal process. Now, upon receiving a petition, the president, in consultation with the Council of State, appoints a 5-member committee comprising 2 Supreme Court justices. That is, one as chairman, right to defend herself. Now, based on its findings, the committee recommendation to the president, who is required to act accordingly. If a petition is referred to a committee, the president, on the advice of the Council of State, may suspend the Chief Justice by issuing a signed warrant.
Well, stay with me. I'll come back to you. Right now, we have on the line Minister of State for Government Communications, Felix Kwakye-Fosu, to give us more clarity on this. Felix, we're grateful for your time on the Midday News. We are keen to know which 3 persons made this petition. What does the petition also entail?
Well, the rules do not permit or anyone else in government at this stage to disclose any details of the petition. It is at the point where a determination is made by the president in consultation with the Council of State that there is basis to set up a committee to look into it, that such detail can emerge. But as of now, I am constrained in terms of my capacity or ability to disclose anything regarding the specificity of the authors or the content of the petitions.
All right. Well, then, let's hear what criteria were used to determine that the petition merited further action, as in giving it to the Council of State to peruse.
First of all, the president does not need to make any form of determination in terms of merit. He is merely a conveyor belt, and it is his duty to consult the Council of State and make a decision as to whether or not to move the process forward. So we are at that stage currently, and when that determination is made, then the next steps to be followed, as clearly indicated in the Constitution.
Well, what is the expected timeline for the Council of State's review, and what are the next procedural steps if they advise proceeding with the petition?
Well, the Council of State will determine the time that they take to move the process forward. So once they bring in the advice, the president will act accordingly.
Right. Well, how does the government ensure that this process does not undermine judicial independence or set a precedent for politically motivated petitions against the judiciary? We already know that some people are already reading political motivations into this particular case.
Yeah, to begin with, the Constitution itself anticipates that public office holders, including the president himself, can become the subject of demands for removal based on perceived or alleged wrongdoing. For that reason, the framers of the Constitution put in place rigorous mechanisms to regulate such a process. It is that process that is being followed. It is not the case that once a petition is slapped in, the president proceeds to remove anybody. In fact, the president does not have the power to do so. The Constitution says that it should go through a process involving a committee of persons who should have capacity to make such a determination, including 2 Supreme Court justices. So it is not an arbitrary process based or motivated by any thinking of the president. It is a process laid down by Ghanaian law, which should be followed insofar as every criteria and every threshold is met. So the issue of political motivation does not even arise, because it is not a determination made by the president. It's a determination made by persons who are clearly indicated by the Constitution.
Well, I'll let you know, for even though you said you cannot reveal the contents of the petition or the people who brought it, I just want to know, is it an issue of stated misconduct or incompetence or what?
I am not able to disclose any detail at this moment. When a determination is made to move the process forward, those details will emerge.
All right. I know that these hearings will be heard in camera, but what steps are being taken to ensure transparency and also to maintain public confidence in both the judiciary and the executive's handling of the matter?
Well, the Constitution was written by persons who were well-meaning. And to the extent that the constitutional provisions are followed, there should be no cause for concern in terms of transparency or the lack of it. All that is happening is that the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, which dictates how such a process should be carried forward, is being adhered to.
Well, Felix, stay with me a moment. Let me play MP for Mensah, Nana J. Bafewa, reacting to what has happened.
It's difficult to remove politics from that. Difficult because nobody in this country can say that they do not or they are not aware of the commentary that has come from the NDC, irrespective respect of how they think the judiciary has been unfair. We cannot discuss this without also looking at comments by President Mahama himself concerning the judiciary. We can list them at the moment. And so,
wait, so are you saying you suspect all these petitions are just, the NDC through the back door trying to get the Chief Justice out?
It cannot be far-fetched.
It cannot be far-fetched.
No, it cannot be far-fetched. It cannot be far-fetched. That is why I'm saying it's difficult to remove politics from it. But let me use this opportunity to appeal to the Council of State, which is the advisory committee of the President under the Constitution, that let's be careful not to throw our democratic game. It may set us back. It will be a bad precedent.
Well, Felix, I apologize for the wrong sound, but you heard him say that it's politically motivated and may set a bad precedence. What do you say to this?
Well, he will know all about political motivation and terrible precedents. Was he not in this country when his president Akufo-Addo set in place or set in motion a similar process to remove the then chairperson of the Electoral Commission, who chaired a commission that is an independent creation of the Constitution? What does he have to say about that? When did he realize that following such a process sets a bad precedent? The MPP is in no position to offer any lectures to government on this matter, given the very things that they did. If they thought that President Akufo-Addo had the power to do what he did, and indeed the Constitution said he had the power to do so, and he did so, and they were happy with it, they applauded him, they supported him. On what basis do they seek to impute any motive beyond wanting to follow the Constitution to the latter in this particular process? So the views he is expressing, in my view, are to be dismissed. The President has received petitions. The President swore an oath before the people of Ghana to abide by the dictates of the Constitution. So if he is required to take a step pursuant to constitutional provisions, he must be allowed to do so. Yes, we may have criticized the Ghanaian judiciary, because the Ghanaian judiciary, like all other public institutions, are subject to criticism. The President of Ghana, President Mahama, himself is subject to criticism. If today he acts in a manner that is believed to breach the Constitution, he will be liable to processes to remove him from office. And the Constitution is very clear. So no public office holder must believe themselves beyond scrutiny and beyond the provisions of the Constitution. So merely coming to purport that there is a political motive for this does not invalidate the process. He should be able to point out clearly any specific violation of the Constitution, which will then give ground